On many occasions, when you're a team going away to your bitter rival, you do need that slice of luck to get the win over the line. And for Man United, they did have that because Gakpo hit the post 3 times, Isak had a great opportunity, and there were other ones for Liverpool in that game. But at the same time, United had their own fair share of chances. Bruno hit the post, Mbeumo had a few chances, and there were opportunities, especially in that first half, to get that second goal. And so it wasn't one of those games where United just parked the bus and hit them on the counter. No, United actually went at Liverpool and made a game of it. And the best thing about the game as well is that United did eventually get pegged back to the 1-1, but United didn't do like they've done many times in the past. They didn't crumble. They went and got that winner. And it was just such a great feeling for this team to do that. Harry Maguire ended up getting that winning goal, and it's not a surprise because he's done it on many different occasions now. He really is a threat in the opposition box, and it's funny that most of his highlights in the last calendar year are those in the opposition box, not in his own box. It's not from those last game-saving tackles or anything like that. It is from the attacking sense of his play, and that is probably his best quality now, because I think going forward, you're not going to have Harry Maguire in your starting lineup against someone like Sunderland, because you want to play higher up the pitch with your defensive line. And we saw in the Brentford game that Maguire doesn't have that pace to run back, especially against those pacey strikers. But he does have that quality where you can bring him on late in the game, or if he's playing like he played the whole game against Liverpool, he can be in the box and be that target. And Bruno, found him brilliantly with that cross. But the great thing about that, though, it wasn't just him there. There was there's also Dorgu behind him. So people queuing up to get that winner, and that's awesome to see. And something that was very interesting with the game is, which I haven't seen many people like pundits mention it, was the front line. Like the front line were able to interchange all the time. Like I kept keeping note of it actually. Like we saw Mount sometimes in the striker role, sometimes it was Cunha, sometimes it was Mbeumo. They moved around a lot. And that's one of the benefits you get with those three compared to having Sesko. Sesko can only really play in that number 9 slot. Whereas with those three, they can go all over the place and cause different combinations with the wing back to create different threats for the opposition. But also it gives sometimes if you're getting really hammered down one side, you can swap someone out and give them a break. Like for example, if they're going down the left hand side a lot and Mount's doing lots of tracking back, then you can say, oh, hold on, Cunha, you go over to the left, Mount go in the middle for a minute, and conserve that energy for a second while we're getting lots of balls down that side. So and Ruben said before the game as well that he had an idea that Sesko would it'd be good for Van Dijk and Konate. They like that big striker to get in those battles with. Whereas with Cunha, he's more of a flexible sort of player, and that was such a good move. And I wanted to see that before the game. I wanted to see Amrim and see if he had a plan, and he did have a plan. And it was so cool to see that Slot didn't know what to do with it. Like he's moaning that they played Sesko in the last 5 games, but they didn't do it today. I wasn't expecting that. So okay, mate. Well, you're supposed to then be a manager and counter that change. Like managers can change their lineup, they can change their tactics. And so Slot seemed a bit of a sore loser, a bit like Klopp's done in the past actually. In recent seasons, Man United fans have had to watch attackers such as Garnacho, Sancho, Rashford, Antony all put in half-hearted efforts. Mbeumo, Cunha, what an upgrade. These players want to play for Manchester United. They know what it means to play for the club. They have brilliant skills, brilliant strength in them as well. In terms of like their mental strength that seems to be there. Cunha, the way he was holding up the ball at the end of the game was unbelievable. Love that. There's also a pass in the first half he did across to the right hand side, but that was brilliant. And Mbeumo and Ahmad, I'm really annoyed we have an African Cup of Nations, because when they go, we're going to miss those two. But it's just so cool to see that relationship being built. Like in the past, we had Neville and Beckham and different combinations all throughout the pitch. And we're actually seeing one built here. Ahmad and Mbeumo down that right-hand side seem to be working brilliantly. Mount, not so much with Dalot, but I think that's an issue. I think mainly with Dalot. I think he is a weakness. He was definitely the weak player in the first half. Like he was getting a few balls to him, and you're like, what's he doing? Just pass the ball to someone else. But we know Dalot and also Luke Shaw, they're not the future. They're there for now, but they're not the future. And that's the thing. It's very clear to see where United can improve, and it's all coming true. It's like everything where you think, okay, that's a weakness, that's a weakness. They are the weaknesses. The midfield as well. Like, to be fair though, Casemiro did pretty well for that hour. When he got the yellow card, I was like, yeah, get him off. Don't keep him on. And also, it looked like he was getting a bit tired anyway, so it made sense to make the change. Nagate came on okay, did okay, and so did Mainu. For Bruno, it's good that Bruno can get subbed as well, even at that stage. Like, he just put an assist in, but he's then taken off because he really ran a lot in that first half, and he could only go so far in the second half. And we've got to understand as well with Bruno, he is now getting a bit older, so he can't do the whole 90 minutes every single game, especially a game like that, which is so intense. But the whole midfield, those 4 players, we have 4 midfielders now. They all did well. Of course, we know Casemiro is not the future. Casemiro loves Man United. He loves his life right now in Manchester. At the end of the season, there's a question now. Like, would you offer him a contract with a very reduced wage just to have that leader there? Because I think Casemiro is a good leader to have, but his 300 grand a week, whatever, is not something we can do for that sort of player. I wouldn't mind to have him for maybe one, season by season to see how it goes. We did that in the past with some players as they're getting older, like Giggs and that. But he has to be on a very reduced wage, and then also sort out what's going on. He can't be the starter. We have to have a new starting midfield too, I think. But I think having him as a backup, I'd happily have that, especially if we're in Europe. I think a lot depends on if United are in Europe, and I really hope it's the Champions League, because it should be five spaces now. Looking at how well the English teams are doing, so I think City, Arsenal definitely be in there. Liverpool, I think, will get in there, even though they're having a bit of wobble now, but I think they will get there. It's then the other 2 slots, Chelsea, Spurs. I think they're inconsistent like United, but if we can be the team now to show that consistency, then I think we have a great chance of being in that top 5, because it's such a competitive league. So if you can find that consistency, then you've got a great chance of getting in those top spaces. So yeah, I was just so delighted to watch United win at Anfield. It's been since 2016, nearly a whole decade, which is incredible, really. But it's just so brilliant to see a win as well for Amrim, because I've done a few videos. If you haven't seen them on the channel, check out a few of my Amrim videos just to see what the media have been saying about Amrim and how two-faced they are now. Like, oh, we like you, really? It's like, oh yeah, it's a great response Amrim had actually about people talking about his formation. He's like, no, keep talking about it. Keep talking down about everything you've been saying. Like, don't change now, and this is a big win, because it's not just a win against away to Burnley or someone. Away to Liverpool, the champions of England, our biggest rivals. This buys you a lot of time, because you could. Not only is it a good performance, it's a performance and a result. Like, if we did very, very well and unfortunately got a draw or even lost, I think people like myself be like, there's signs there to keep going. Like, it was a Liverpool game at Anfield, we never win there, but we won. We did it. And so I think, yeah, people want him gone by Christmas. I don't think that's ever going to happen now. I think Jim Ratcliffe will stick to what he's been saying. I think he's going to give him time, and I just want that. I want that. I think there's enough you can see here. Like, he's got now 2 attackers in Cunha and Mbumo. His signings, which are working. The window's looking good. Like Sesko, he's got 2 goals already, and I think he's eventually growing into it. It's a big responsibility to be that number 9 for Man United. We've seen that with Højlund and other players in the past. It's not an easy role to be that striker, especially in a team that's not fully developed behind him yet. But with Mbumo and Cunha, they're brilliant, and I think those 4 positions are sorted there. And then also, I can't not mention Lahrmann's in goal. He's doing the simple things right again, and he conceded the goal, but was he at fault? No, it was just a cross goal. He was never going to be able to save that. And made a good few saves. 1 catch, which was a bit like, oh, bloody hell. He just about got that. But he got it. He did get it. He didn't fumble it like Onana might have done, or Bindier might have done. And at the end of the day, when it comes to the goalkeeper, just look at the defenders around you. Like De Ligt, Shaw, everyone just seems to be so happy with him. And that tells me everything you need to know, really. It's like if they're happy with the guy behind them, they trust the guy behind them that he will, save them if needed, then that's great. And I think we haven't had that with Onana. Like all those mistakes, you're gonna be worried. Even just a simple shot, you're like, oh bloody hell, is he gonna actually just let it go through his hands again? So yeah, I think the goalkeeper is such a key position, even for Liverpool, really. Like they missed Alisson. Would Alisson have done better with the goals? Maybe, but goalkeeper is such a key position. And United have messed around with it a bit recently after De Gea. But yeah, anyway, they're my thoughts on the Liverpool Man United game and just Man United in general. I just wanted to put some thoughts out. Let me know yours though in the comments down below, and any predictions for whatever game is next up in the calendar, depending on when you're watching this. But until next time, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.